Hey everyone, it's Sammy from Push Square, and I wanted to put up a quick video to accompany my review, talking specifically about God of War's length. Now, I know a lot of you have questions about how long the game takes to complete, both in terms of its story mode and its side content, so I'm going to get into that in this video, but do remember to check out the review elsewhere on the channel if you want to know a lot more about my thoughts on God of War, and do also remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation content. And with that said, let's get into it. So, as I mentioned in the review, God of War is structured differently to any past God of War games, and it best resembles a modern Tomb Raider title in that it's kind of linear, it kind of funnels you down a path, but there are opportunities to explore. There are different places you can go to that are optional, they're not part of the main quest, and there's lots of side content, there are little puzzles to complete, there are lots of collectibles to collect, that kind of stuff. So when I played through the game, I spent a fair amount of time doing some of the side content alongside the main storyline. Now, I did focus on the main storyline first and foremost, but I did go back and sort of explore and sort of spent time doing a few of the side quests, and I did a lot of the puzzles. Now, the puzzles, like I say in the review, are also kind of optional. You'll come across lots of chests that you can open if you solve the puzzles in the area, but you don't actually have to do that. And one of the cool things about this game is you can kind of play it the way you want to. You can spend a lot of time going off and doing all the side content and going off and completing all the puzzles, or you can just ignore it all completely and just focus on the story. Now, for me to finish the game, and like I said, that was playing through the story mostly but doing some of the side content along the way, it took me between 25 and 30 hours to complete the main storyline and roll the credits. So that's quite a substantial God of War game. If you consider the past ones were about 10 hours in length, this one is meaty in comparison. It's longer than the main trilogy combined. So I would say if you're rushing, you could probably do it in 20 hours. If you're playing and taking your time a little bit and solving some of the puzzles and doing some of the side content, you're looking at about 25 to 30 hours. Now, what's important to point out is once you finish the game, there is lots of stuff to go back to. And at the point I'd completed it, I think I was roughly about 40% complete. So I was missing a lot of the collectibles. I hadn't done even half of the side quests, and there were areas of the map that I hadn't visited yet. So I think I haven't 100% completed it yet, but I would estimate on a first playthrough to 100% complete it, perhaps not using a guide or not using a guide a lot, maybe just for a few things. I think you're looking at between 50 and 60 hours to 100% the game. That would be my estimate. So as you can tell, this is a big God of War game. There are multiple difficulty tiers. You can play it on a story difficulty tier if you want, which makes it very easy, but you can just soak up the kind of narrative. There are harder tiers than that, and there's also a really ultra hardcore mode that's meant to be a proper challenge, and that is tough, but people who like those really hard difficulty modes will enjoy that. So there's multiple difficulties, there's lots to see and do, there's lots of side content, there are optional bosses, there are optional there's like gear that you can find, there are optional quests, there's a lot to do in this God of War game. It's really very substantial, and I think what I said in my review was, like, single player games don't get much more fulfilling than this. Like, I know a lot of people worry about spending $60 or £50 or whatever it is on a single player game that has no kind of multiplayer replay value. This, I think, is properly fulfilling. You get a lot of content, a lot of game, and it's all very high quality content. Even the side content that I've done so far seems really quite good, actually. It's good stuff. So this is a long God of War game, it's a fulfilling God of War game. And the other thing I'll say is, for people who think this sounds too long, there aren't that many moments in the campaign where I thought it was dragged out. It feels like the game never really runs out of ideas. In fact, I think it's got a lot of ideas in it. So it's not like one of those games that's padded with drawn-out combat sections. There are obviously big combat gauntlets in the game, but there's not so many that it gets tedious and you feel like they're trying to extend the length of the game, because we've all played games that are quite long and you feel like they could have cut loads of this out and it would still be just as good. God of War isn't like that. It feels like pretty much the whole game is there for a reason. So yeah, so I think you're looking at about 25 hours for the main story, 50 to 60 to 100%. So that's my view on the length. Please do check out the review elsewhere on the channel. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel for more PlayStation content, and thank you so much for watching.